Hi, guys. Welcome to the Mother Daughter Spirituality Podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually doing this. We wanted to do this forever, so I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited, but I am kind of nervous.
I
I don't
know
know
I have a
why.
little bit of butterflies, but I think it's good butterflies. Oh, butterflies is our symbol.
Yeah, there you go. So today's first ever podcast, we're going to be talking about psychic abilities,
Yes.
how to become psychic, and then also the background story of not only mine but my mom's. So if you want to take it away and kind of go from the beginning.
Okay. Well, I think that originally, let me just put this out there. If you don't believe in psychics, if you don't believe in any of that woo woo stuff, that's fine. And I respect that. But then this is not the podcast for you.
Yeah, if you feel any negativity towards it or anything like that, there's really no need to talk about it really, and you don't need to listen to it. This is only for people who feel compelled to listen to this portion of it. So,
Yeah. So be open minded. I can definitely say when I was younger, I went to psychics, but I didn't 100% believe that those abilities were real. And sometimes I thought that people were fake, and some people are. But this is more about my own story of how I became psychic and what I went through to get to that point. So let's rewind. So maybe I want to say, like, oh, maybe like 20 years ago, I got a book from Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, who was famous for the law of attraction, but this is way before the law of attraction was even a thing. And I remember reading the book, and Esther Hicks talked about meditating and that she would meditate laying down for hours and hours. And then she started speaking as Abraham, which is her personal guide. And I remember reading that book and I'm like, lady, you're so fake.
yeah.
That can't be real. But I was intrigued because I'm always into that stuff.
Yeah.
So I kept reading the book and it didn't cross my mind, but it did open me to meditation. And meditation, I suffer with anxiety. I think you do
Yeah.
too. And I think that really helps. But I was going through a time in my life, maybe I would say maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and I was going through a rough time. I wasn't really sleeping. I was going through a lot emotionally and a lot of changes in my life, and I would meditate at night, and I would do it for as long as I could, and then sometimes I would fall asleep and sometimes I wouldn't, but the point of it was that I was meditating and I would I might meditate all night. And at first, I didn't start seeing things. I would see like little geometric shapes, colors. My own eye, like my third eye, would pop up. But I was just doing it to calm myself down. I didn't really think that my like psychic ability would come from that. And I'm a firm believer now that everybody has the ability to tap into their intuitive and psychic abilities. I believe that 100%, and because it happened to myself, and I think that you get gut feelings too. You have
Yeah.
really good intuition. This is a Pisces rising right here, and you can definitely tell. um
I also just want to interject and say, meditation for me at first was really difficult because I would have thought that you had to, shut your brain down. And
yeah,
with both of us having anxiety, that's not a real thing for us, like shutting
no,
your brain down.
definitely
So,
not.
what I started to do is I would go on YouTube and I would look up like meditation music. And I would just be in my room and I would just listen to it and go over all the things that I'm grateful for, all the things that I might want to manifest or anything. Like meditation, you don't have to go into like a zen space. And like a lot of people, myself included, at first thought it was like yoga and like the repeating and stuff, like so stereotypical of what like you would think meditation is, and it doesn't have to be
It
like that.
doesn't have to be, but I
No,
love some good yoga.
I know, but it can be something as simple as literally looking up on YouTube meditation music, being in your room. I know moms are very busy and you don't really get that time to yourself, but
No,
you
definitely
have to
not.
carve it out for yourself and really just like take 5 minutes, take 2 minutes. It really doesn't have to be like this hour long process.
No, you can take 5 minutes. There's times where I'm so busy in the day that I will meditate just for 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
that 5 minutes is like bliss, and then you feel refreshed afterwards.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, you could work yourself up to from 5 to 10 minutes to 20 minutes to a half hour
And you
to an
could start
hour.
as low as like a 60-second breathing meditation to help yourself calm down and
Deep
center
breaths.
yourself. You really can start from nowhere and you can work yourself all the way up. And we're two working people. Like this,
Yes.
we want to make this, like, of course, our full time career. But as of right now, unfortunately, that's not where we are. So I don't want anyone to think, like, oh, you guys probably have like a luxurious, like, we don't. We
We
work.
don't. We work
We
hard.
we have so many tasks going on,
Family,
family,
take care of
everything.
our family.
And we know the struggles of a 9 to 5 regular working class person, and it's hard.
Definitely.
But as my mom was saying, everyone has some sort of gift. My grandfather, for one, he can see in his dreams people that have passed, and he
Yes,
is
that's
a
amazing.
Catholic through and through.
100%.
So if you were to tell a Catholic that somebody has a psychic ability, you'd probably be shunned, honestly.
Yeah,
But
that's
for
true.
him to have such a gift like that, and he recognizes it, he doesn't like shoo it away or anything.
No, I think he's embraced it in
Yeah,
his
he
old
has.
age. He has an open mind to stuff. He's
And
he's
so
pretty
it
cool.
could be anybody from 80 all the way to 8 that could have some type of psychic ability, and it could really come at any time. I mean, a lot of people nowadays have trauma, and
Yes.
so I know it's not surprising, but trauma plays a big factor in the opening of your psychic abilities.
It definitely does. And one of the things that they always say is, I mean, if you like look up MK Ultra, if you're into those conspiracy
Yeah.
theories or into that, like what is that? They always say that if you go through serious trauma or major issues in your life, it does open up that other area of your brain. And I believe that because I think that when my psychic abilities came about is when I was going through some serious trauma.
There's a psychic medium, George Anderson, and he has in his book that he had, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if it was scarlet fever. It was one of those like diseases, and he was like dying, and
Yeah.
he died, and he came back again, and that's when he. His story is crazy, but he then started seeing people that had passed over, and it was because of that traumatic medical experience that it opened his eyes up
I'm getting
to.
chills.
Yeah, it opened his eyes up to such a beautiful gift that he now is able to share with like the rest of the world, and it's incredible.
The psychic that we went to not that long ago and did readings, I remember asking her how she got her psychic abilities, and she actually was in a major car crash.
Wow.
And afterwards, she started meditating for pain control. And that's how she started getting her psychic abilities. And then she started being able to be a medium and
Yeah.
see people that have passed on and help people.
Yeah.
So I do believe that. But just because, I mean, if maybe you don't have trauma in your life, doesn't mean that you can't do this. I
Yeah.
believe anybody can do this.
100%, and you can tap into it. For women especially, your gut, your intuition is the first key. That is such a magic that we take advantage of, and I tell everyone that I ever speak to, people come to me for advice and they say, I don't know, my gut's just off, and I'm like, trust it.
Always
I have
trust your gut.
never, when I was younger, when I was really younger, I had gut intuitions and I just brushed it off, and it was always right.
It
Every
was
single
always
time.
right. Your gut is never wrong. So always listen to that.
And you need to really listen to your body in order to connect with your body, because if you brush it off or you don't pay attention to your body, you're never going to be able to come to that like full connection, that
You're telling
infinity
me
symbol.
something.
Like I'm picturing like a body and just like an infinity symbol like around it with like glowing and everything. Like you will never be able to tap into that if you don't really synchronize with yourself.
Right. And then when you're doing meditation, you're actually getting your whole body in sync
Yeah.
with, you know, whatever you would want to call it. You know, your chakras are being balanced. You're like right now we're in the sun. We're getting the sun's vibration and
Yeah.
energy and life.
Grounding.
Grounding is
I
such
know
a
you
big
love
thing.
to do
I
that.
love grounding, especially now that it's nice out.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to do. And I need grounding.
So if you guys enjoy this podcast, we have a ton more episodes that we're going to try to come out with. But also for this one in particular, if you have any questions about tapping into your psychic ability, please let us know. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not professionals by any means, but we
No,
definitely
definitely
have
not.
some life experience where we'd be able to kind of guide you or help you along. Check out all of our socials. We're
Definitely.
on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're really trying to put out good content for everyone.
And let us know what topics you would like us to
Yes,
do, anything
100%.
spiritual. Let me just tell them real quick, when I was meditating for those hours on end for days, not that you have to do it, but I started seeing shapes, and then I started seeing like a silent movie of energy. And I didn't realize that the energy that I was seeing was like a silent movie. Didn't realize those people that I was seeing was myself and whatever the future would bring. But as I started getting practicing it every day, it started getting clearer and clearer. And then I realized um, I was going to the park the next day, but I didn't realize in my mind's eye, I was seeing just energy, but I was seeing myself walking to a bear, and a bear jumped at me. And I didn't realize the next day I'm walking in the park going with family, and I see a person in a bear suit greeting us, and they jump at us to tease us. Then I realized I was actually seeing future events in my mind's eye from all that meditation, all that work. So then I was like, oh, I am seeing the future.
And I remember you saying right before we went like down to vacation or wherever, you saw a braid, and I always at that time wore my hair in a braid, and you could see me and you knew that it was me from that
Yes.
distinct braid. And like we went to the water park or something and you had already seen it. Like you had
Yes.
already visualized that.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
remember you were so nervous to like tell me because you thought that
I
I was going to think that you were crazy,
Right.
which
And I have to say, many psychics that I've spoken to, when you do get your psychic abilities, a lot of people will think that you're crazy. And I understand that. I mean,
yeah,
because you're dealing with stuff that like you've never seen before, and you're
everyone's
trying.
skeptic.
Right, and
Yeah,
you're thinking like, "Oh, okay, well, maybe their mind's not right," but I 100% will tell you that I am sound mind.
you're an
I am not.
advocate. Yeah.
Yes, and I am not, you know, I if anybody does have a mental illness or anything like that, I feel for them. I definitely know that that's something very hard to deal with. But in the aspect of your psychic abilities, there's a way to access them, tap into them, and then get back to self and just go about your normal day. You can shut it down. You don't have to constantly be on your psychic, journey. You can shut it off and you can just live your life normally. So I hope you liked our
I hope you
podcast.
guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you
And
guys.
like I mentioned before, check out all of our social medias. We try to put out really interesting content for you guys. So thank you.
Thank you.